Hello, Imperial Commissary. How are you today? A little bit different today. We're not doing an auction. We're going to talk about the brand new IC for Life charity. I want to get your questions, concerns, ideas, and I want to tell you a little bit about what IC for Life is. So join up. Tell me when you're in the room so I can see your comments. And we'll get going here in a minute. I'm actually going to post up my picture for tomorrow night's Taco Tuesday sale while I'm at it. While I have you all as a captive audience. But yeah, when you join in the room, let me know you can see me and hear me, and then we will get going here. And it's going to be pretty much open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get to the website for IC for Life charity. I'm going to show you how to get to the bidding page, how to place your bids, how to sign up to bid, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it's about. We'll talk a lot about ICCC and how unbelievably epic and awesome it was tomorrow during Taco Tuesday. But this, I want to really focus on IC for Life. I want to make sure people understand it so they can tell their friends, because we want to be able to make as much as we can for the families that could use it. So that's what the plan is. Let me, I'm doing something here, but when you get into the room, tag anybody you know, tag anybody that might be interested. It's really important that as the Imperial Commissary, we all come together and do this. I mean, because we don't want to sell just like the really ritzy, fancy things like some auction houses. I mean, I love the auction houses. Good job, Hakes, and they're great, and they come to ICCC every year, and I love them. But Hakes is looking for 85s. We're looking to sell entire collections of collectors from the Imperial Commissary or that have joined IC for Life charity. They don't have to be a member of the IC to join. We're looking to sell their collections when they pass and get the most amount of money for their family. And I do have some examples of what I'm talking about. We also do have a collection from the Kilpatricks. And we're going to talk all about all that stuff. But let me put up my post for Taco Tuesday, just so, because everybody will be like, oh, you didn't put up a post yet. And it's because I literally just put up the picture. So give me 2 minutes. But while I have those 2 minutes, get into the room. Please ask your questions. I'm going to hit refresh because I don't see any questions yet, so it must be stuck a little. And then we're going to get going here. But yeah, I want you to ask absolutely anything, even if it seems like it might be an inappropriate question or something. I want you to all be very comfortable and understand exactly what we're trying to do here, what I'm trying to do here. So that way everybody can see what it is, because I think if you guys understand what it is, I think you're going to love it as much as I already love it. But I've been immersed in it, so I'm a little bit too close to it, if you know what I mean. So I want your help in asking questions that I might not realize need to be asked. And the only reason why is because it's not letting me do that. There we go. Because I'm really, really close to it. So I'm like, I see it, you know what I mean? And I understand it. So I need you guys to understand it, because I can't do it alone. I need the help of the Imperial Commissary, which can do amazing things, as you've seen. Give me 1 second. My Facebook is acting squirrely here. There we go. We're starting to get some comments in there. I will read all your comments in 1 second. Let me just put up this post on the IC for Taco Tuesday tomorrow, and then we will get going here. But my thing is loading, so what are you going to do? Alrighty, there's Chappie C. Chapman, I see. What's up, buddy? We're going to get going here in 2 minutes, folks. 2 minutes. But yeah, feel free to ask questions right now, so they're populated for when I'm ready, and we're going to go through the whole process and everything like that. So please tag your friends, tell your friends, tell them to come be part of it. All right, folks, I got a Taco Tuesday sale, but it's not letting me do it, so what's going on here? Maybe it's because I'm doing something else. It's not letting me do it. I'll do it later. I've got y'all here, so we may as well get started. I'm going to put myself in that little box down there. So let's see if this works. And I'm going to put a cover over here. There we go. Okay, cool. I don't have Chat Ninja turned on anywhere, so I can read your comments here on the IC. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. All righty, Chris Pelletieri, how you doing, buddy? Daniel Powers, good afternoon. How are you, brother? Freddie Muir first, not really, but that's all right. Glad you're here, buddy. Aaron Moffat, what's up, buddy? Alex McNeil, what's going on? Coming in loud and clear. Casey Blevins, hello, buddy. How are you? Ooh, my pictures just came up. I got too many pictures on my phone. Chappie C. Chapman, there we go. Hello. DJ, hey, how you doing? Aaron Moffat's tagging people. Thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate it. Jason Annable, how's it going, bud? Casey Blevins. Ooh, Casey Blevins, we have our first question. So Casey Blevins asks, let's say I want to be part of IC for Life. What do I need to do? Okay, well, it's simple. There's a few different ways that you can be part of IC for Life. We're going to go over here and let me open this up. IC for Life Charity.org. Okay, you can go to icforlifecharity.org and you can learn all about it. IC for Life is a federally licensed 501c3 nonprofit organized for charitable purposes and dedicated to creating and cultivating the general public's awareness of and appreciation for collectibles and related popular art forms, including participation in and support of public presentations, conventions, exhibits, museums, and other public outreach activities which celebrate the historic and ongoing contribution of collectibles to art and culture. So what it is, here's essentially the idea I had. Being the admin of the IC, if somebody passes away, their significant other tends to reach out to me. And they say, Mike, I have a whole room full of toys. What do I do? And I hated being like, well, get Star Wars Tracker, take the next 10 months of your life and sell them. And this is how you do it, and teaching people how to fish. So what I did is over time, I started thinking, and I was like, how could I think of a better way that'll take care of this even when I'm not around, you know? So I decided to start IC for Life Charity, and it happened years ago. That's why I have some autographs from many years ago. I even have a Harrison Ford autograph that has IC for Life on it. This was an idea I've had for a while, and finally it has come to fruition. So after ICCC is in the books here, and I wanted to get to you with IC for Life. So we currently do have a auction live. It's just 40 items. It's a very small auction to start with. We have tons of other stuff, and it's from the Kilpatrick collection. So we're going to look at that here. This is IC for Life. This is, if you want to go here, it's icforlifecharity.org. You can find it in the notes on the post I just made, on the live post. You can also find it a bunch of other places. I'm going to have to put up my Taco Tuesday post after this. I don't think it's working because I'm going live currently on the same account. So we're just going to focus on IC for Life, which is good. All right, so here's the different ways that you can be involved. Let me turn down the radio a little so you can hear me a bit better. Okay, you can volunteer. Volunteer is easy. What it means, we need people to take pictures. We need people to clean toys. We need people to help ship and help get the word out. We need marketing people. We need an accountant. We need a lawyer. Well, we have a lawyer and an accountant, but we could always use more. We need just different people to handle different things. A lot of the pictures and stuff that you see in this auction, every single one has to be taken, and it has to be cataloged, and it has to be put into a spreadsheet form. And it's not like I can't send a box of 20 or 30 figures to a trusted IC member for them to take pictures and them to upload that into the documents and stuff like that. If you happen to be local or somewhere near the Nashville area, when we have to ship after a sale, you can come help us ship and stuff like that. So anything like that, volunteering your time, if you know a lot about nonprofits, we're just starting out. It's a good idea. It's a great idea. But we're just starting out, so any help will help. That's how the Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention started, is I just said, hey, let's do it. I got the right paperwork, as I did with the nonprofit, and I I leaned on the kindness of the Imperial Commissary and said, does anybody know how to run a convention? And now look at what an awesome convention we have. So hopefully the same thing will happen with IC for Life Charity. So you go to icforlifecharity.org, you're going to see what we see in front of us here. And you can click on volunteer and you can fill out the form and learn how to volunteer here. All around, there's these little buttons. If you want to donate, it's very simple. Just click on any of the donate buttons. And it'll ask you how much, other amount, how would you like to pay, stuff like that. And that donation is 100% tax deductible. So if you'd like to pay a little bit less on your taxes and do something good with that money, you know, toss a couple bucks to IC for Life. But we're going to go back to the main page there. So you can volunteer, you can donate. Those are two ways to help. And you can also become a monthly subscriber. You can become a member of IC for Life. Now, if you're a member of the Imperial Commissary, that is wonderful, and I love you for it. That does not automatically make you a member of IC for Life. Also, you do not have to be a member of the Imperial Commissary to be part of IC for Life, to be a member of IC for Life. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is an outreach type thing. I know over the years, you know, some people don't like the IC. Some people like repro. Some people don't like repro. Some people, you know, don't like the IC. Some people just don't like me, which is okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Some old school folks don't like me. Some new school folks don't like me. But that just kind of happens when you run the largest, well, not largest, but I'll just say it. The best darn Star Wars buy-sell trade group on the planet. It is safe here. We have the best stuff. We have the best people. And the reason why is because your admin team kills themselves on a daily basis to make sure that the IC is as safe as the internet could possibly be safe. So those kind of things, we want to still be able to reach out to everybody because everybody should be able to support this. If we have a Grammarian Guard collector that hates my guts, but there's a lot of Grammarian Guards in the Kirkpatrick collection, I would rather that person purchase those Grammarian Guards, get them for themselves, and then the Kilpatricks get more money out of their Grammarian Guards because we reach out to everyone. So this is across all aisles. I'm reaching my hand across all aisles. I want everybody to participate. So even if you don't like me, this has nothing to do with me, and you'll see why here in a little bit. So, IC for Life is a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating general public's awareness and appreciation for collectibles and related popular art forms. The way we want to create that awareness, we want to create awareness about the history of significant, authentic collectibles to the general public. The history and significance of authentic collectibles. So, say they're, well, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Over the years, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn in any way, shape, or form, but over the years, sometimes things like, I don't know, the Imperial Gunnery, which is a great place for identifying items. It's one of the originals. It's been around forever. But they were starting to close down and because they couldn't afford the web hosting and stuff like that. And I've tossed them money in the past out of my pocket, which I'm not trying to say, oh, that's a good thing or anything. I'm just saying what happens when I'm not here. There's a lot of times I click donate on a button where somebody has to do that once I'm gone. You know what I mean? Or else great things are gonna get screwed up, for lack of a better reasoning. For example, remember when Kim Simmons came out with that awesome book? And I love Kim Simmons. He's a great guy. But this awesome book, there was somebody on there, and I'm not going to mention their names because there's no reason to mention names. But there was somebody on there who kind of accounts for making more repro, like over half the repro that exists in the world. And they tried to get a sponsorship on Kim's book. And he was like, hey, man, you know, it's a $3,000 sponsorship you got to do, you know. And I was like, well, here, how about this? How about I give you the $3,000 and then you don't allow them on that book because they make fakes. Kim agreed, and he was happy, and he was still able to make his book. And I became a sponsor of a book that is very wonderful, but it's not something I would normally sponsor. I usually like to do kind of like, well, you see Canella, our charity, on there and stuff. I kind of like to do the starving kids things as opposed to books about Star Wars things with my extra money. But that was something that I felt needed to be done, or else we would have a Kim Simmons book with a huge repro supplier as the sponsor with their picture on the back of it. And that's bad for the hobby. So we're just trying trying to stop the bad things for the hobby. And lots of times that requires me reaching into my personal pocket and paying for it, spending it. I don't know, like the Imperial Commissary Collectors Convention. You know, that's the only convention in the world, the only one, where no repro is a tentpole. We don't allow repro at all. We're the only convention in the world. We're the only toy show in the world. We're the only anything involving buying, selling, and trading in toys in a public format where repro is not allowed. I know there's one con that is like built off repro, that has bought many old websites and stuff like that, and all the money they're buying things with and all the money that they're hyping their convention with is built off repro. If you've been a collector a long time, you know what I'm talking about. And that kind of stuff is unfortunate. So I can't fix everything myself, but as the Imperial Commissary, we sure can give it a shot to fix everything. So what we want to do is we want to keep that alive for the future. Even after I'm gone, I still want an entity, i.e. IC for Life Charity, to be able to give that sponsorship to Kim Simmons. So the book still gets made, but so we don't have to rely on people trying to hawk repro and also pretending that they're part of the community, that they care about this community, that they have the heart in it like we do at the IC. So this will take over for me one day, many, many years in the future, but it still doesn't change the fact in order to make ICCC work, which is there is no profit, even though it's not a not-for-profit, it's a convention, but in order for that to work forever, I mean, somebody has to put up the $84,000 at the beginning of the year to rent a hotel. It can't always be me. And I don't want it to go the way of the dodo when it's literally the only convention in the world that doesn't allow repro. It gives the highest discount to military, active duty, first responders. God bless them all and Godspeed to them on this Memorial Day. They're the reason why we get to stay here and play toys. And I want to keep that alive, keep that place for them, keep that place for us. And in order to do that, I need your help. And that's what IC for Life is. And hopefully by the time I'm dead and gone many years from now, it'll be nice and strong and have a board of directors that will be able to continue on this thing we've created. Because the Imperial Commissary is just too special for it to rely on the health of one human being, especially one that loves his cheese and pasta like me. So let's go here. So what we want to do is we want to create awareness about that, because you know what? Lots of times, and you can ask any admin of the Imperial Commissary, lots of times people don't even know what repro is. They don't even know why it's bad. They don't even know why it takes money from people. And they certainly don't know how to tell the difference. We also want to promote the appreciation of collectibles as art and cultural artifacts. We want to move this into something that keeps that legacy of vintage Star Wars and vintage toys in general, vintage collectibles, because we even do Ninja Turtles, whatever. But vintage collectibles, we want to keep that as something that turns into actual art. Just like real art, you know, a Picasso will still be around because people have protected it and taken care of it, and nobody just throws a Picasso in the garbage. And wouldn't it be nice if Star Wars started being like that, or vintage toys in general, where people, you know, treat them with the respect that they deserve, because, I don't know, they're special. They're special. They're part of the world we live in. They're part of our culture, our lives, and our thoughts, and our everything, our family. So that's what we want to do. And by doing that, there's lots of different things. For example, all the IC pages, they require admins. Just one little tiny example. The IC pages require admins, and those admins give their time for free, and they work their tushes off to keep it safe, to keep it nice. They get nothing in return except once a year. I get a fun, cool Christmas present for them, and each admin gets a Christmas present. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not worth that much money, but it still doesn't change the fact that it costs me about $1,000 to $2,000 a year between the item and the shipping. And I would like that to continue forever. You know what I mean? Even though the admins would never request it or need it to keep the IC going, those little tiny things that nobody ever thinks about are thousands of dollars out of my pocket every year, which I'm more than happy to spend. But I don't want them to go away with me and people be sitting there not getting their Christmas present going, wait a minute, like, why? You know, and that's just a little tiny thing. There's hundreds and hundreds of things. that rely on me or Andrea or like my family here to keep our family, the Imperial Commissary, going. Just the cost of the web pages, just the cost of imperialcommissary.com, just the cost of the nonprofit, just the cost of anything for the nonprofit, stickers, just the cost of stickers. Something needs to pay that eventually. What if I'm 90 years old? I don't even know what a Star Wars figure is anymore. I'd like it to keep going, you know? So that. We also want to provide IC Memorial live sales. Now, the IC Memorial live sales are something really, really important. Because that gets the most amount of money for a collector's family. Now, for example, in this first collection, the Kilpatrick collection, they've been wonderful. I've known the Kilpatricks since, for a while now. But anyway, so they give me the collection, and I'm going through it, and I do a lot of Taco Tuesdays and stuff like that. So I'm going through the collection, and I can tell this is a brown hair Luke. This is a regular Luke. This is a specialty Luke. This is a whatever it is, whether it's a brown hair, orange hair, whatever it is. Whether it's a Palatoy snowtrooper or a regular snowtrooper, made in Mexico, Lily Letty Darth Vader as opposed to the standard Darth Vader. All these things have massive differences in price. And the thing is if it is a family member, they tend to not know that kind of stuff, okay? So Robert had an awesome collection. Robert Kilpatrick had an awesome collection. And I talked to his wife, and she was a sweetheart, and his kids are wonderful, great kids. But they didn't really know where to start. So they were going to put the collection on Marketplace, and what happened is they were asking me about it, and they said, Mike, you want to buy it? This was, it had to be 3 years ago now, huh, Rebecca? So about 3 years ago, she reached out and she says, Mike, you want to buy it? Robert passed away, and I want to sell the collection, and blah, 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 blah. And obviously, I buy collections to sell on Taco Tuesday. You see me do it. But whenever it's somebody that's IC that passed away, I don't want to buy it. I want to get them the most I can possibly get for it. Because that's one of us. That's part of our family. I don't want to profit off that. But unfortunately, I can't just spend my entire life selling stuff for other people. Plus the tax implications of money just going into my account and me just cutting random checks to random people would not be good on my end of taxes. So what I've always been thinking of is a way to do this. And luckily, the Kilpatricks have been so patient and wonderful that they've given the time for me to continue to build this, get it going, get the auction house going, and everything like that, which has made it's perfect. It looks great. It runs great. Everything is great. And we have a wonderful family that we can all get behind. And maybe buy a grammarian guard you don't need for full price, you know, because 100% of all the profits that come in go directly to the family. So it's important. The way for you to say you want your collection to do the same thing in your passing, all you do is you buy an IC for Life membership. IC for Life membership, it's $20 a month, less than $1 a day, dirt cheap. And what happens is in your passing, after 12 months of you being a member, in your passing, we will reach out to your family after like a week or so. And we'll just send a basic email that says, you know, your husband or wife got this next of kin thing through IC for Life charity that will make sure to get you the most money out of your collection. So you don't have to just sell it to a reseller or sell it to eBay or throw it on eBay or throw it on Marketplace. So Rebecca reached out to me and she said, Mike, you want to buy the collection? And she was asking for, I think she was like, I don't even care how much. She was like, I'll take $5,000. And I'm looking at it going, well, that's like $25,000 worth of stuff at least. So I'll be a dirtbag if I do that. I go, how about we do this? If you have time and you don't need the money, and she didn't need the money, and you want to take the time with me, then we can build this IC for Life charity, and we can get you top dollar for it, get it all back to you, and then you can give for less than the fees of eBay, less than the fees of someone selling it on eBay themselves, who's not going to notice the variance, who's not going to have connections to the Imperial Commissary and the wonderful members that are literally the best people in the world, who's not going to be able to tell people about it, and who's just going to go on a regular eBay. And we've all done eBay, and sometimes you put up a stormtrooper, and that stormtrooper doesn't go for $45; it goes for $1, and then they lose all that money. And then sometimes, so I didn't want to buy the collection because even though if you're selling your collection and you want money, cash, whatever, I'll buy it. That's what I do. I don't mind. I love doing Taco Tuesday. It puts those collections right back into the community, and that's wonderful. But if your significant other passed away, I would rather you get as much money as humanly possible from that collection so your significant other can see. I go to church every Sunday. I'm a firm believer in the afterlife. It's so your significant other can look down upon you and go, hey, I did a pretty good thing there keeping all that Star Wars stuff because these bills are paid off. This car is paid off. This mortgage is paid off. Or in the case of Jeff Jacobs, this planet is paid off. But, but you know what I'm saying? You need somebody to handle this stuff in your stead because, I don't know, luckily enough, I have a wife with a toy store. But not everybody does. And sometimes your family looks at these things after you pass, and it's like, what the heck am I going to do with all this stuff? And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming at a time where you're already overwhelmed. So we take that process away. We come, we send out IC team members. This is another thing you can volunteer for. You can volunteer to be one of the meeting teams where you go to the family, you pack up the items, you get them back to IC Toys Nashville in order for us to sort them and go through them and set up the auctions and stuff like that. And then we do the auction, we set up the auction, we run the auction, we handle all the payments, everything. You get a sheet at the end if you're the owner of the collection, so you'll see all the ins and outs, and every penny is accounted for because it's a federally licensed nonprofit. It has to be accounted for. And then what you get is you get the most money possible for your collection because it's a bunch of collectors selling it, so we make sure to write it up correctly, and it's a bunch of collectors buying it, and those collectors are also part of your IC family. So I don't know, I bought plenty of things when someone has passed for double or triple the price that it should be. If you pay $50 for a Gamorrean guard, it ain't gonna hurt you, but it'll matter to a family that just lost somebody really special to them. So to get into that whole thing, and you can look it up on this website, icforlifecharity.org, but you would want to get a membership, and the membership would provide IC Memorial live sales for subscribing members' families. And what happens is those live sales, these auctions are on the auction I'll show you here in a minute. The buyer's premium, just like any other auction house, is a percentage that is added on to the end once you purchase the item. The buyer's premium, just like any other auction house, is a set number that the buyer pays on top of the items in order to cover the auction house's costs. Instead of us doing that, we're doing a buyer's premium, but 100% of that buyer's premium will go directly to IC for Life charity. I'm donating my time. Chad, who you've met on some of my Taco Tuesdays, is donating his time. Aaron Schellner is donating his time. Andrea Havens, my lovely wife, is donating her time. And we're doing this, I'd say in free time, but we never have free time. But we're doing this as volunteers. We get no money from this, none. What happens is we get the items, we get the collection, we list the auction, we take the pictures, we put live the auction. I use the platform that I built with the Imperial Commissary to talk about the auctions, and hopefully you guys will go in there and help us out by bidding on the auctions or helping out in other volunteer ways. So, I know I'm talking a lot, and we're going to get through this little part, and then I'm going to go to your questions, so keep writing them. We'll get to everybody's question before I end tonight. Eventually, in the grand scheme of things, I would like to raise money to do a museum of collectibles and collectors in the history of the Imperial Commissary and the collectible community on top of that. Not a museum of just my old collection or my old toys. I do see that a lot, and those are fine too, and I understand that people want like their legacy to go on, but I am not president of the United States. I do not need the Mike Havens Museum of Star Wars Collectibles, where you put my collection in a room so people could pay $3 to come look at it. I don't care. Throw my collection out when I'm done, or sell it for my wife, or whatever. Couldn't care less about it. It's once I'm done, I'm done. You can't take it with you, they always say. But I don't want a museum like that. I want a museum to remember the time that Stephen Hopwood dressed up like Nine Numb for Figure of the Week. I wanna have a museum that remembers and has photos of the swag and the items, the swag items, or the historical items of the Imperial Commissary, the first sticker, the first patch, the first hat, the first, I don't know, anything like that. I want that to be there one day. And I'm not talking about a big giant Guggenheim museum. I'm not talking about my collection or anything like that. I'm talking about the actual, when you take the Star Wars toys out of it, we're a family. And we have these family reunions. And these family reunions create events and times and special things and swag and merch and wonderful memories that should be shared forever. But, so a small museum, but that museum I'd like to put on the front of an actual convention center we built. And that convention center, eventually, this is all way down the road. I'm not going anywhere, okay? So this is very way down the road, but that eventual convention center will give a place for everybody who does small to medium conventions, family-friendly pop culture conventions, or what the ICCC is, where it is no corporations, just fans. If there's a corporation, they can't rent it. But it'll give an affordable place for the actual fans to throw their actual conventions. So not just the Imperial Commissary can have their family reunion every year, but all the other different collecting groups and fan groups can also have a place where they can have their event every year at a reasonable rate. One thing I've learned about the ICCC is renting places is ridiculously expensive, and it doesn't need to be. But they add double taxes, triple taxes, and then you got state tax, house tax, resort tax. And we can provide something that's better. Shoot, we can even have IC for life. Like, say you have a great group of sneaker collectors. I don't collect sneakers. I wear flip-flops half the time. But if you have a great group of sneaker collectors and you just don't have the opportunity to get your people together because there's no venue that can support you for a decent price, then we can offer that. Say it's a really great one for a great cause. Maybe we can even have IC for Life help pay for the fees for them to rent that convention center. That's what IC for Life is going to do. I want to help other fan groups, other good fan groups, no repro fan groups, to realize their dreams. Because here's the thing, I started a trucking company in 2006. It made me lots of money. I've done very well. I've bought art and stuff like that, and I've been pretty smart with my purchases, and I've done pretty well. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. But there's a lot of other people that have just as much heart as me, if not more, that don't happen to have the bank account that I do. So why can't something like IC for Life help them grow their parts of the hobby as well? And that's what I want to do. So what we do, IC for Life offers a variety of programs and services to achieve our mission, including awareness programs. Do awareness programs for all ages, from school outreach to lectures to workshops. Here's the thing, we do this constantly. We do a lot of cosplay things. If there's a tornado, we throw an event. If there's a kid's graduation, we did a graduation down in Murfreesboro with the help of some of the wonderful cosplayers in Tennessee. Thank you so much. We do sounds events and all these different things. And as a nonprofit entity, for us to be doing those would continue forever. And somebody else besides me would pay for the cases of water. I mean, there's expenses to all this stuff. Pay for the cases of water, pay for parking if needs be. And then that would allow more people to come out without any expense out of their pocket. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to sop up, because I've noticed over the years, and I'm not bragging in any way, but I've noticed over the years that if you don't have somebody like me that's willing to drop $500 to $1,000 on a free event, nothing gets done. It's a terrible time. There's no banners. There's no advertising, there's no paperwork, there's no flyers to give out, there's no free prizes, there's no free gifts, there's no water for anyone, just water. Like, water has a cost, somebody's got to pay it, and in my stead I would like IC for Life to take over that job. I'll do it till the day I die, no problem. I love this community. I love everything about Star Wars and collectibles and all the different collectors from around the world. I love that they come together and meet, and I love that Boba Fett is Boba Fett. No matter where in the world you are, it's the same, you know. And I have friends in China. I have friends in Australia. I have friends in Mexico, Canada, Ireland, Arkansas, everywhere. And in the words of Andor, we have friends everywhere. And that's because of this community that has grown and all the other collectible communities that have grown themselves. So what we want to do is support those public outreach activities. This year, I had extra tickets, VIP tickets to Celebration. I put my VIP tickets to Celebration, I donated them to IC for Life. That money that IC for Life made paid for staff shirts. So all our staff, here's the silly things that we make money for, okay? It paid for staff shirts for ICCC. So the volunteers could have more than one shirt because they were having to wear the same shirt 3 days. And I'm sorry, volunteers, you always smelled so fresh and nice. But that's a cost. That's an expense. It got a U-Haul and 2 movers to help with moving in and moving out. And I finished at midnight again of moving all the stuff out of ICCC, but my back wasn't broken. And everyone that was there was helping and smiling, and it wasn't just a horrible, horrible, horrible experience like it has been since 2018. And that was all because of I threw my Celebration tickets that I couldn't use. I donated them to IC for Life, and IC for Life made that money, which it was enabled to in turn donate into things like an extra T-shirt for the wonderful volunteers that kill themselves all weekend to help you for free. Or instead of, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like all these little things. And those kind of things. There's a realistic price to everything we do. Whether it's a 24-pack of water or a U-Haul, there's a realistic price. And I got to say, I couldn't be more thankful that we had a U-Haul this time instead of everybody's trucks, and that we had 2 movers that were more than happy to do it, that we paid plenty of money to do it. And they were psyched, and they were moving stuff at midnight. Well, me and Tim and Nick and Adam and Hopwood, and Hopwood was walking around Andrea's store. Andrea, he took all your those Lego buildable figures nobody likes because he wanted them, but sorry. But stuff like that, you know, and it made us have a nice time too, which is so much better. Also for advocacy, we advocate for the preservation and protection of collectibles. So for things like the Kim Simmons book, like the Imperial Gunnery, those donations can still happen and keep those things alive forever for millions of collectors. And we want to do that too. But I can't do it forever. I'm only one person, you know, God forbid. And also the IC for Memorial Live Sales, the Memorial Live Sales in the event of a member passing away, the family can request to have an IC Memorial Live Sale. Donations will fund reps flying in and creating a live sale event and all vintage toys in a Memorial Live auction format. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. But then there's more information, why collectibles matter, stuff like that, how to sign up, how to support, what do you get for your donation. If you donate, your donations are tax deductible. If you would like to consign an item, it's not tax deductible since you do get something in return, but the buyer's premium would still go to IC for Life charity, so you would be helping out IC for Life. And it would not cost you any more than just listing it yourself on eBay. eBay is 13.5%, IC for Life is 12%. The buyer's premium is 20% on IC for Life. But all that money goes directly back to these programs that I'm talking about in order to create a future of collectibles. So it's a wonderful thing. We had a booth at the ICCC, and many people dropped off things. We have things from posters to Loungefly to a bunch of different things. It can be vintage, it can be modern, as long as it's collectible pop culture. And then what happens? So what happens is we go, okay, we do that. And up here is more information. There's membership information if you want to sign up for the In Memoriam, so you have that membership. It's very easy. And for $20 a month, if your collection is in the thousands of dollars, do the math. It's extremely beneficial. And the reason why is because when a family gets a collection, they pop it up on Marketplace, or they call up somebody like me, like Rebecca did, and she says, You want it for $5,000? And I say, well, I can't do that to you. Let's build something better. So that's what this is. You can sign up for memberships there. You can donate today if you got a hankering, you love what we're doing. You can learn more about it. There's the convention center I want to build. But if you got a hankering for it, you can toss a couple bucks. It could be $1. It could be $5. It could be $10 million if you're Bill Gates, and we'll put it to good use. Once you build up a certain amount, you will get into different ranks, essentially, of the Imperial Commissary. There's some of the ranks there, but I'll show you. And then you get into the Officers Club, and here's some officers that we already have that have donated on their own, and these are the different ranks they have achieved so far. Eventually, you will get, if you receive the rank of Commander or higher, you will get a certificate that says you are, it's your commission, your IC commission. IC for Life commission, and these are the different levels, and that is per year, and that will be added together. So that way you get those different things, and then you'll get into a members only area. The members only area, I won't show it to you now, but it's very cool. Once you get up to that rank of, what was it again? It said it on the last page. The rank of Commander or higher, then you get into the, it's all listed with the different ranks as well as what you get. But then you get into the members only area, and that members only area gets you first dibs on literally everything, on VIP badges for the con forever. Like, you know, when the VIPs sell out in 10 seconds, like Celebration does, which is the way you're going, we can see it. Once that happens, you still get first dibs. Vendor tables, you get first dibs. Everything I see, you get first dibs. And that way, it is an incentive for the people who do the most, who are the nicest, who support it the most, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much to the officers of the IC that have already helped out. Here's their names, and they're all wonderful. Once you do that, you get into the members only area. There you go. And then you get, there's a privacy policy, feedback, financials. The financials will be there eventually. We haven't really made any money, but they will be there eventually, just like any other nonprofit. Now I want to show you the next part, but we're going to go to your questions first, and then we're going to move over to other stuff. So let me go over here and read your questions and answer your questions. But thanks for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. Okay. Hi. What's up? Oh, hey there. Nope, not Taco Tuesday. These sales are an awesome thing to do when I go. I'd hope the things I love go to someone who would continue to love them for my family and doesn't get hosed. That's exactly what it's for. Doing what I doing the IC and stuff. I see people get hosed all the time on their collections if they pass away. So, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. T. Richardson. Yeah, man. I went in and bid on stuff. I told my wife I want my collection to be liquidated by you guys if they choose to sell. There you go, Teague. Sign up for that membership, and your family won't have to do anything. We'll make sure to take care of everything. That way it takes it off their plate and attains them the most money possible for their collection. And then the buyer's premium goes to IC for Life, which helps get things like, well, right now, like a U-Haul and movers. But hopefully one day it'll, you know, pay for that hotel ahead of time so ICCC can happen for 150 years. You know what I mean? I don't have kids. I don't have anybody to Willy Wonka, so I need the Imperial Commissary for help with that. Chad is the man. Chad is the man. Is this international? Can you do this for Canadians also? Matt, yes. We can do this for anybody in the world. There are a couple little tweaks to the nonprofit thing because it is a federally licensed nonprofit in America. So, for example, when we pay out the family, that 12% the family gives as a fee. That 12%, if it's in America, then we give you a piece of paper that says you donated to our $2,000, $10,000, whatever it is, was donated in your name to IC for Life nonprofit charity, and you can write that amount off on your taxes. I'm not quite sure if you can write that amount off on your taxes if you're in Europe or Canada or something like that. But we can still sell the items, and I'll show you how we're doing it and how we're selling it and how we're able to pay out the families, because you can't just sell stuff for a nonprofit and then pay out families directly, but there's a way to do that. And that's what all the wonderful lawyers are for. Good thing there's a bunch of lawyers on the IC. You guys have been a huge help. But yes, you can sign up anywhere in the world, and we can do it. Hopefully we'll get volunteers from all over the world. So in that exact case, if there's a collection in Canada, you know, and I'm quite sure I could call my buddy Toby Black and he'd get up there and help me out with it. But if there's a collection in Canada, hopefully it doesn't always have to be me that goes up there, but I'll do it if I need to. And that's also what the buyer's premium pays for, is eventually for the airfares and stuff for the volunteers to get there to pack up the collections, or say they need to buy tubs at Walmart to get the collection together to get it so it can be processed and sold. Stuff like that, you know. But all of that stuff is, since it's a federally licensed nonprofit, you'll be able to see, like I clicked on financials before, you'll be able to see all of that stuff, all the ins and outs and exact numbers for everything. Here, let me do this, and let me do this, and there. Now I'm on the big one again. So that's the way that works. Let me pull this over here, just until we get to finishing your questions here. But yes, for Canadians, also for anyone in the world, it doesn't matter. I'm more than happy to fly to England to figure it out. And I'll also call on one of the contacts I have in England, and I'll say, Wayne Toddy, guess what? I need you to keep all this stuff at your house until I sell it so you can ship it internationally for cheaper, or something like that. The terms of sale page, paragraph 2, mentions buyer's premium discount if paid in 14 days. Is this correct or a misprint? The buyer's premium discount, there are discounts for the buyer's premium if you do pay it really quick. I'm not sure if it's 14 days. I'll have to look at like the FAQ that you're speaking of under terms of sales. But yes, there are different discounts for buyer's premium. If it's a quick payment, if you pay without credit card or something like that, because credit card charges fees. But yeah, I'm not sure if it says terms of sale, page 2. Let's try to look here. Oh, you're already on the other part here. Let me go over here. Let me see. Terms of sale, part 2. Items sold the highest bidder, higher premium. No, it's not for speed. It's IC Toys buyer premium is 20%, reduced to 17% for a check, money order, or wire payment. So yes, that's what you're talking about. Buyer's premium discount is only applicable if the payment is received within 14 days. So here, let me explain that here. Let me put this up here. Good question. Thank you. Display capture. Yeah. Okay. So number 2 right here, it says items are sold to the highest bidder. IC Toys buyer's premium is 20%. It is reduced to 17% for checks, money orders, or wire payments. That's because without a credit card, we don't lose that 3.5%, so it's 3% off. 100% of the buyer's premium is donated directly to IC for Life charity. Accepted payments, Visa, MasterCard, blah, 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 blah. Now here, the buyer's premium discount is only applicable if the payment is received within 14 days from the close of the auction. Payments received after 14 days from the close of the auction, because you have 14 days to pay the stuff that you bought at the latest. If it's 15 days, then the buyer's premium is 20%. It doesn't matter if you pay in a wire transfer or a check or anything. That's a discount for paying. Essentially, we're not charging you the fees that we're not collecting. But that's all that means. And the 14 days is just like you got to pay within 14 days, just like any other auction house, or else you got to pay the full buyer's premium. Even if you send a wire transfer in 15 days, you're paying the 20% instead of the 17%. That's all that is. Let's get back to the questions here. Where's my questions there? Do you guys have everything cataloged when you become a member, or do you have the family just kind of go through themselves and send the items? The family doesn't have to do anything. You keep your collection exactly like it is. If you happen to have a catalog of your items, God bless you. I'll take it. But most of us don't do that. What we will do is we will send in a team. We will take a video. We will give that video to the family and also post that video on the IC. I think I did it with the Kilpatricks already, posting it on the IC. But then what do? Is we take all the items and then we sort them and put them in categories and stuff like that. And then we have a listing on the back end of the auction website. There's essentially an Excel spreadsheet. And that Excel spreadsheet, at the end, it says, whose is this? So it'll say Kilpatrick for all the ones that are the Kilpatrick. There's a Stephen Radizak donated a specialty of the Praetorian cohort ICCC exclusive for last year. It's all blacked out. It's really freaking awesome. You should check it out. Even if you're not bidding on the auction, it's just freaking awesome. You should check it out. But that one, for example, that one, all the proceeds go to IC for Life. So instead of there being money going to the family, and it's notated there, if you click on it, you can see that it's separate. But in that back end, there's an Excel spreadsheet that will have all the items, and then it'll have all the amounts that they sold for, and it'll have whose collection they come out of. So when the family gets their check, and the Kilpatrick collection is going to be spread over many different auctions. The reason why is because it was a large collection. This is our very first auction, so I only wanted to do 40 items to make sure if there's any problems or kinks or anything like that, we can work it out with 40 items instead of 400. This is the beta test. Right now is the beta test of this, and it is working. But what that does is then we send a spreadsheet and we say, this is from auction number 1. And here's your items that were in auction number 1. Here's what they were. Here's what they sold for. And here's the total that you're getting. And then that check goes to them. And then the buyer's premium goes to the IC for Life. And then the fees, the 12% fees, eBay is 13.5%. IC for Life is 12%. We also know what the items are, so you're going to inherently get more money than you will off of eBay. Also, if you don't know what you're doing on eBay, one wrong word and you might get $1 for something that's worth 500. It just happens. But what that does is that ends up getting the most amount of money to the family, and also their fees, the 12% fee. We give that from IC Toys Nashville in a donation, as a donation in the family's name to IC for Life charity. Therefore, the family gets to even write off those fees. Those fees are tax deductible on their regular income tax and stuff, their taxes at the end of the year. So even the fee that the family does have to pay is 100% tax deductible, so they don't lose any money on it. They make money on it, even though the fees are less than eBay even is. Also, the wonderful thing is, because I live in the wonderful state of Tennessee, we have something called a nexus in Tennessee. IC Toys Nashville has a nexus in Tennessee. So that means that anybody else in America that buys anything, now overseas there's some different tax laws and tax rules. You always have to look into your own tax regulations. But anybody in the United States that buys anything that is not residents in Tennessee, if we ship anywhere but Tennessee, there's no tax. So it's 1 billion times better than eBay. The buyer doesn't get charged tax. So honestly, even though that buyer's premium is 20%, if you live in Davidson County, it's 9.75% tax. So my buyer's premium, well, if I didn't live in Tennessee, if I lived in another state, Vermont, my buyer's premium would be only 10% because I save all that money in taxes. eBay will charge you tax. eBay will charge you 13.5% fees. And eBay is a Wild West crapshoot where somebody might buy your stuff, steal your stuff, ship you back a brick as a return. I've had it happen many, many times. eBay's nuts, and we completely avoid all that. And then we make sure it's the cheapest possible for the buyer, cheapest possible for the seller, and then a nonprofit charity that grows your hobby that you love is the only thing that gets any money from it. And it's less than it would cost you if you just sold on eBay. And it's less than it would cost you if you just bought on eBay. It is literally the best. And the only reason why it's the best is because we need people like you and people like me and my wife and Chad and all the people that help. We got to volunteer our time. But who cares? They're a family. They're IC. You know what I mean? I don't care if I got to stay up a little bit longer to take care as an IC member. I don't care if I got to do a little bit more picture taking or something like that. It doesn't matter. And also, if the eventuality of this is that IC for Life ends up paying for a U-Haul and a couple movers so we don't all have to blow out our backs at ICCC, then everybody wins. And I don't mind doing a little bit extra work on the front end for that. Let's see what else we got. Everything catalog, yes. Sort of a question. Is there any possibility of a live at some point about how we can document our collections, even loose beaters, to make it a bit easier? Whoever has to handle our collection when you're gone, surely there are things that I can be learned from these situations to make. Yes, hopefully there's something that a volunteer would be wonderful at. If somebody out there has an awesome way to catalog their collection that they would like to teach other people, I sure would love to have you on and have you teach folks how to do it. I am terrible at cataloging my collection. The way I do my insurance is I take a video once a month and give it to my insurance company. That's what's currently in my house. The reason why is because I buy lots of things, and also because I'm lazy, and also because I have a lot of other things on my plate, so that's not at the top of my list. But if you have an Excel spreadsheet, any information helps. Some people have information, but most of us aren't really expecting that the end is nigh kind of deal, and death comes like a thief in the night, and you don't usually have your Excel spreadsheets updated for when it does. But yes, that's a great idea, man. And I think a volunteer that has a great system in place, I would love to give a platform to somebody that wants to teach people how to catalog their collections better. All I can think about is my poor family if I pass. Dude, I was thinking about that the other day, honestly. I've obviously been thinking about that for a while because as the admin, like the guy who made the IC kind of deal, everybody always tells me first. So I've been thinking about it a long time. But I was thinking about it the other day because we just got a truck with a lift gate on it because that was a necessity for the pipe and drape thing that Chad does. And then we also got something else. Either way, I have like 5 vehicles on my property right now. And I was saying to Andrea, it'd be so funny if, well, it's horrible, but if we passed away, because whoever would have to come deal with whatever's going on right now would be like, so whose truck is that? Whose thing is this? Whose is that? You know what I mean? It's chaos because nobody's living your life but you. And it's tough to get somebody up to speed that isn't. But with vintage Star Wars, or your toy collection, I keep saying vintage Star Wars, it's because I love vintage Star Wars. 90% of my stuff is vintage Star Wars. We can sell anything. It's an auction house. It's a legit auction house. And a federally licensed nonprofit. So you'll see. It'll I don't know. It'll make it easier. It'll make it easier, and it makes the process cleaner. And there is nothing tougher, I would suspect, than having to go into your significant other's collection room that they've loved and having to sell those items and being always afraid that they're looking down at you from up there going, no, not that one. It's a blue snaggletooth, not a red snaggletooth. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's a 10-back Ninja Turtle. It's not a 45-back modern. Goodness gracious, with what they've done with just Transformers, imagine. Imagine, and I've seen it. Any buyer has seen it, where people just sell all vintage Transformers, G1 Transformers, and they price them as the modern ones. It just happens. It's people with different levels of knowledge, and it's not their fault. They're just interested in other things. And the person that was interested and knew what all those things were has passed on. Let me see. My wife knows where the pews are stored. That's about it. And that's the other problem. She knows where the pews are stored, but does she know a Leia blaster's worth $80 and a Bespin blaster's worth $5? Yeah, it's a big swing, man, on something that to a regular non-collector looks exactly the same. Everything I have vintage is this. Some placeholder retro collection pews, the legit ones are far out of my budget. Yeah, but those retro collections, we can find those and figure that out. That's the part that we know. Andrea has a question. What's the difference in signing up for in memoriam versus consignment? Okay, in memoriam auction. Thanks, baby. That's a great question. I didn't even tell you to ask that. All right. In memoriam auction is something we do at the end. If you pass away and you're signed up for the membership, if you signed up for an IC for Life membership, then when you pass away, we ask you a bunch of questions when you sign up for that membership. What's your next of kin? What's their email address? What's their phone number? What's this, what that? So when you pass away, we give it a little while so we're not disrespectful. Your family has enough on your plate the first few days. But after about a week, we will reach out with email first. If we don't get email, then we'll send a text message. And we'll say, your husband or wife has purchased the membership into the IC for Life auction. So we will take care of their collection and get you the most money out of it. And it'll explain all the things about how we do it, about what it is. It'll give the nonprofit, it'll show them a current auction so they get an idea of what it is. And then it is their option whether or not they want to do that. So if they want to keep your collection because they love it too, great. And they can get the IC for Life membership if they want. If they want to sell your collection, we can do that for them. If they want to sell it themselves, they can do that. If they want to take certain pieces and sell that themselves, they can do that. The thing is, if you don't have an early bird set or something like that, or even if you do, there's wonderful auction houses that'll help out a family in need like that. Like you can go to Hakes, and you could say, Hakes, I have a 21 back FET that's graded AFA 80, and I have an early bird set that's graded AFA 80. But if you have a Luke Stormtrooper loose that's graded AFA or graded CAS 85, I mean, and I'm not picking on Hakes in any way at all because I think they're great. I love Hakes. But I mean, I've got a CAS Lily Letty CAS 85 Lily Letty Imperial Commander, and that's rare as heck, mint on card, and they won't touch it because it's CAS. And it's just they don't sell CAS stuff. They sell AFA stuff, unless it's unbelievably ridiculously rare and random. You know what I mean? But if you ever notice, and that's just because of internal workings. So what happens is, say for example, something like this. Say I kick the bucket, and this is sitting there. There's nobody, there's probably 10 people in the world that know what this is worth. You can't put it on a straight auction, certainly can't give it to Hakes, even though it's graded a 90, but it's CAS 90 on vintage bootlegs. They don't do vintage bootlegs. So how do you sell this? If I die, how does my wife sell this? Does she put it up on Marketplace for the, probably $12,000 it's worth? Because nobody's going to buy it in a billion years. Or does she put it in an auction where some vintage bootleg collector will see it because it's a community auction? Do you know what I mean? But that's just one example that I happen to literally have right here. We all have that random stuff. The thing is the other thing with Hakes, sure, if it's a AFA 90 Luke Stormtrooper mint on card, they'll sell it. But if it's a loose Leia Hoth with no blaster, they aren't going to sell it. But that's still with what? $20, $25. For example, Kilpatrick collection. He has tons of Gamorrean guards. If you got a Gamorrean guard focus, join these auctions. You're going to love it. You're going to get tons of gammies. But you can't give 100-something Gamorrean guards to Hakes auction and be like, you put these in live auctions, please? They're going to be like, no way. I don't got time for that. But we're not like that. You know what I mean? Like, everything. If it's a piece of paper, we all know that piece of paper has a value. Like, you get things, and sometimes there's like, for example, like an early bird coupon that's worth like, I don't know, $1,000, and it just looks like a piece of paper garbage to somebody that isn't trained for it. And Hakes is looking for the entire early bird set with the thing that's graded in AFA. We do non-graded, we do graded, we do whatever you got in your collection. We sell collections at IC for Life, not just the best items. And that's okay too, because there's lots of money in the collection part of that for your family. Shoot, just think. I don't think I've ever seen Hakes sell a loose Boba Fett. I have a tower in there, about 1,000 of them. So what would happen with those? Somebody has to spend the rest of their life listing individual eBay listings of Boba Fett's because I decided to army build one year? That's horrible. Here, let's see. Now, if you want to do consignment, that's very, very easy. There's 3 different ways to get your stuff on one of the auctions. Number 1 is membership. If you pass away, membership, get your stuff on the auction. Number 2 is consignment. If you want us to sell something on the platform, which is going to grow huge, it's just going to grow huge. If you want us to sell something for you on the platform, there is a fee for that. I believe, I don't know what the consignment fee is. Don't quote me on it. We haven't gotten anything consignment yet, except for like my celebration tickets, but I didn't care. I gave all the money to IC. That was more of a donation. But I'm not sure. I think it goes up, and I think it's also with the amount. Like if it's a $10,000 item, it comes down a little. If it's a $20,000 item, but there is something in the terms and conditions there. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But I can find it eventually. Or if you have a consignment, you have to fill out the form anyway, and we tell you about the costs then. I just don't remember off the top of my head. The in memoriam auctions, all that money goes to the family. Consignments, all the money goes to you, except for the buyer's premium and the fees. But they'll still be cheaper than eBay. And also there's no tax for the buyer, so you get more money. It's a whole thing. Really, if you want to look into the numbers, really look into the numbers. It's literally the least expensive way in the world to sell. And then you can also donate items. If you have a ton of extra stuff and you want to donate something, send it. Many people have donated already, and they're wonderful. Thank you so much. We've sold them over time. You've seen me sell them in the live auctions, and all that money goes directly to IC for Life. So there's 3 different ways to sell stuff through IC for Life. The first way is the memoriam sale. If you buy a membership and you do an in memoriam sale, we do an in memoriam sale for you after your passing. The second way is consignment, where you can sell your cooler items or stuff you want to sell, and we'll put it in our auctions. And that way, instead of you giving a buyer's premium to a random non-entity, which like buys jets or Lamborghinis or whatever people buy, I don't fit in a Lamborghini, and jets are too short, so whatever. But if you want to do that, that's fine too. But instead, if you go with IC for Life for your high-end consignments, then all the money, all the buyer's premiums and everything, it doesn't go into buying stuff for us personally. It goes into IC for Life, which helps grow all the things that I've been talking about tonight. So that's, I don't know, personally for me, I think it's a way better place for it to go than eBay fees that go to eBay that makes $800 billion a year off of your stuff. Anyone watching this live that would like a set of my ICC 25 swag stickers, donate $5 or more, send me a screenshot. There you go, buddy. Yeah, anything like that. You can always click the donate button on icforlifecharity.org, and that stuff, anything. If it's $5, if it's $10, if you want to do a live auction on any of the groups and you're like, hey, 5% goes to IC for Life charity, that's wonderful. Little tiny bits. If you say, hey, how about you round up for IC for Life? And then you give that change to IC for Life. I mean, all these little pennies and dollars and tens of dollars and extra toys and, I don't know, this 12 back that you have an extra of or whatever, all those things help build the coffers of IC for Life charity, which can do more and more good. It'll just be like a snowball going down a hill that'll turn into a giant avalanche, you know? You need a dude in Alberta to grab, sort, and organize and ship? Let me know, Mike. I can help you out. Ben Muser, thank you very much, sir. There's somebody in Canada right there. Ben, if you would do me a favor and go to icforlifecharity.org and just fill out the volunteer form. And that way we have your information on file. It'll say if you're willing to go pick up collections, if you're willing to help in that way. Also, it'll ask for your location, and then that way we can keep those all in a list. So if it does come up, I don't have to remember, ooh, Alberta, Ben Muser will help. I can, somebody or anybody that is doing IC for Life. Because see, this has to work without me someday far in the future. But that way somebody can look it up and say, hey, let's reach out to Ben Muser and see if it'll help. But stuff like that. So if any of you think of stuff like that, Stephen Radizak, there's one that's our very first donation. Well, not our donation. Our Steve Barbe has sent him some stuff, and even Chitwood has and stuff like that. But Toby Black has wonderful people. But Stephen Radizak, he has the one of one Praetorian cohort in the all black that is up for the charity auction. But he's the first donated item on one of the IC for Life charity auctions that you can get to through IC Toys Nashville. I love the IC for many reasons. This is the icing on the cake. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Will you sell custom figures? Yeah, of course, dude. If it's part of your collection, we'll sell it. Unless it's repro. We won't sell repro. Never. But we'll go through it and throw it out so nobody gets it. Yeah, we'll probably throw it out. I don't know. We'll offer it back to the family, but we will strongly encourage them to let us throw it out since it has no value. But we're not going to just take their stuff and be like it's garbage. All right, now let's look. We're going to go back to the video because we're going to show you just how to get in there, how to sign up for the charity auction. And please go throw a couple bids on. We'll do more of these. And if you have any questions, write us, ask us. We're more than happy to help. And if you want to volunteer, please just click volunteer, fill it out. It'll take you 2 seconds. You know, please do. But if you're on the IC for Life charity page, or if you're on IC Toys Nashville, you can click on any of these hot links that'll get you here. Click here to bid now on the current auction benefiting IC for Life. This is the current auction. To register, you just click up here, click register. Here's all the information. Well, there's mine. But here's all the information. You put in your first name, email address, stuff like this. It asks you here 2 industry references, but you can just write the IC there, as it says your IC username. And then we can look up your information there, so you're safe. But it has you put in your information and your credit card and stuff like that. This will get sent to the IC for Life team. I lost my video here. Hold on. There you go. This will get to the IC for Life team, and well, which is essentially me, Andrea, and Chad right now. But hopefully more of you soon. And then we can go through that. We activate the account, and then you can bid. It'll tell you everything on how to bid, stuff like that, and all this will go to the IC Toys Nashville website. So you know it's us. This is Andrea's website. She will have things to buy. She's going all online eventually. But there's things to buy there. But here's how you can sign, and it'll tell you all about it. It'll tell you the closing procedure, how that works. It'll tell you how to bid. It'll tell you the terms of the sale, and then you can go check out IC for Life here. Subscribe for upcoming events. Here is Robert Kilpatrick. Right here is the IC member. Here's his story, and this will happen with anybody that has the in memoriam auction going. So this will always be here, the IC for Life, and it'll tell you sign up for bid, and it'll tell you here's how you do the bidding, blah blah blah, how to bid. And you just go to current auction at any time. It'll bring you back to the main page. And here are the items currently listed for auction. So these are still killer deals. Look at that. Lando General on card, mint on card, Lando General, $150. Current bid is only $150. Here we have an Empire Strikes Back Tuscan display arena offer. Great bubble. And it's currently at $0. There's no bids on that one yet. It looks like it's missing a pop, but that'll be mentioned somewhere. And also, if you click through, there's numerous pictures. So we make sure to take all the pictures of all the areas that could be problems or affected. And that way you can take that into your bidding as well. But here's a bunch of different items. As I said, there's some GAM guards in there. But yeah, look, a lot of current bids are $0, but there are some with current bids, like this brown hair Luke. But $150 brown hair Luke for a AFA 75 graded brown hair Luke is pretty darn cheap. And I'm sure there'll be more bids because this auction does not end until 6/15/2025 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's still a lot more time. I'm going to be advertising the ever-loving heck out of it. I'm going to be tagging everyone, and I'm sorry, I know people don't like that, but too bad. It's for charity, and it's for a family of the IC, and it's for the Kilpatrick family. So I'm tagging you. Too bad. Here's information how to consign, how to sign up for consignments, what we do, and anything like that. Anybody else have any other questions? Because if you don't have any other questions, I please go in here, click register to bid, sign up for IC for Life auctions, do a little bit of good. Even if you can, only buy a loose complete figure, that's great. If you could buy the more expensive things, that's great too. But all this goes to the families of the fallen IC members. So that's what it does. There was a question from Casey I missed.
It was like, what's the low
Chad
end value of a collection? Get the membership, like, is there a low end value?
There's no low end value of a collection to get a membership. I mean, it all depends if the membership price, that $20 a month, is worth it. If you have all the stuff laid out, but I mean, you know how it is. Like, when you buy stuff, man, I mean, shoot. Like, it doesn't have to be, like I said before, like, it doesn't have to be a 77 back fat. This has value. And after you pass away, this has value. And I know some people that, might not have the biggest, best collection in the world, but you got 25 loose layers with no weapons. And we can add that to, because see, the charity auctions, they don't have to be exclusive for one person. They could be many different people because it's all separated by the whomever submits to the auction. So it can be 20 different people that we're auctioning off for on any particular auction. So it doesn't have to be the biggest collection in the world. It doesn't have to be the smallest collection in the world. It could be any size collection. It doesn't have to be Star Wars toys. Shoot. I don't care. I can advertise it on Facebook groups for Ninja Turtles, and I also know that IC members that also collect those other things will tell their friends. This is not an IC only thing. I want everybody to sign up, everybody to get your deals. Remember, there's no tax if you don't live in Tennessee, so you get no tax unlike eBay. The fees to sell are cheaper than eBay. And the membership for $20 a month, it's a no-brainer if you got a few $1,000s into your collection. And even if you start small, you know how it goes. These collections snowball, and then all of a sudden you're sitting on 10 grand worth of stuff that maybe you didn't disclose to your significant other was 10 grand worth of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's always nice to hedge your bets, and I don't think anybody after your passing will be cussing your name for giving them extra money they weren't expecting. So that's what it's for. So I hope you all like it. I'm willing to volunteer and help. Yeah, dude, awesome. And Andrew, you're local too, man. I can have you sorting stuff with us and stuff like that, taking pictures even. But yeah, anybody else have any questions right now, or are we all good for tonight? Because I'm going to go have dinner. But it's something special. Join the team. Whether it's volunteering, whether it's donating something, whether it's sending $5. We can't do it without your help. But if we can make it work, which we will make it work, it could be epic. So thank you very much for being part of the Imperial Commissary. Thank you very much for being so supportive. I'll see you tomorrow night for Taco Tuesday. But for now, I'm signing off. Please check out icforlifecharity.org and also bid to register. You can do that on ictoysnashville.com, or you can do it on icforlifecharity.org. There are plenty of links. Just click on any of them, register to bid, and I don't know. I have nothing else to say, but IC for life. So thank you very much. Have a great night. I love you all. I appreciate it. Good night.